If you've ever felt that thick, sticky slime sitting in the back of your throat, the kind you constantly try to clear but never quite can, you're about to discover something 9 out of 10 people with this problem have completely wrong about their own bodies. Did you know that nearly 1 in 4 adults deal with chronic throat phlegm every single day? Most have tried allergy meds, most have cut out dairy, most have even seen a doctor about it. And yet, the phlegm keeps coming back. Why? Because you're treating the symptom, not the real cause. I spent years researching this problem, and what I found will completely change how you think about that constant throat clearing. Stick with me. This might be the most important 12 minutes you spend today. Picture this. You wake up in the morning and there it is, that thick, gloopy mass sitting in the back of your throat. You hack, you clear, you swallow hard, nothing really helps. Throughout the day, it never goes away. You find yourself constantly excusing yourself from conversations to clear your throat. At night, it gets worse. Sometimes you even wake up coughing or choking. Sound familiar? If so, I want you to know something. You're not alone, and you're definitely not imagining it. A 2018 survey in the International Journal of Chronic Obstructive Pulmonary Disease found that chronic throat clearing affects over 60 million adults in the United States alone. That's nearly 1 in 4 people walking around every day with the same exact problem you have. But here's what makes this statistic even more frustrating. When chronic phlegm sufferers finally see a doctor, most get the same generic answer. It's post-nasal drip. Here's a nasal spray. Yet a major clinical review published in the American Journal of Rhinology revealed that 68% of patients didn't improve with that standard treatment. Why? Because the standard diagnosis is often wrong. The phlegm isn't coming from where your doctor thinks it's coming from. This isn't just annoying. Chronic phlegm impacts your sleep quality, your work performance, your social confidence, and, if left unaddressed, can lead to bigger respiratory issues down the road. The good news? Today's video will give you the answers most doctors never share. So what are we covering today? I'm going to walk you through the 5 hidden causes of chronic throat phlegm that most people, and surprisingly, many doctors, completely miss. These aren't the obvious answers. Number 2 is a condition that affects 1 in 5 adults but almost never gets diagnosed correctly. Number 4 is an environmental trigger hiding in your own home right now. Number 5 is a simple daily habit that's secretly making everything worse. By the end of this video, you'll know more about what's actually causing that sticky mucus in your throat than 90% of people walking around with the exact same problem. And I'll give you a 30-second self-test for each cause so you can identify which one applies to you. Number 3 will probably surprise you. Number 5 might be the easiest fix you've ever done. Let's dive in. Let's start with the most common cause, and the one that gets blamed for everything: chronic silent sinus inflammation. Most people picture sinus problems as obvious: stuffy nose, facial pressure, runny nose, the works. But here's what the medical research is revealing. Your sinuses can be chronically inflamed without any of those classic symptoms. Picture your sinuses like small caves behind your forehead, cheeks, and nose. When the lining of these caves becomes even slightly inflamed, whether from allergies, pollution, or past infections, they produce excess mucus. That mucus doesn't always drip out of your nose. A lot of it trickles down the back of your throat where it pools, thickens, and creates that constant phlegm feeling. A landmark 2020 study in the American Journal of Rhinology followed 847 patients with chronic postnasal drip symptoms. Researchers found that 62% had silent sinus inflammation as the primary cause, not allergies, despite what most had been told. Here's how to know if this is you. Morning headaches or facial pressure? Phlegm gets worse when you lie down at night? You feel fullness behind your cheeks or forehead? If yes, silent sinus inflammation may be your hidden culprit. Now here's the one that shocks nearly everyone. The number 2 cause has absolutely nothing to do with your sinuses. It's called laryngopharyngeal reflux, or LPR. Doctors often call it silent reflux. And when you understand it, you'll realize why so many people have phlegm they can never get rid of. Here's how it works. There's a valve at the top of your stomach called the lower esophageal sphincter. Its job is to stay tightly closed, keeping stomach acid where it belongs. But when that valve weakens or loosens, even slightly, stomach acid can travel up your esophagus all the way to the back of your throat. This acid, even in tiny amounts, directly hits the delicate tissues in your larynx and pharynx. Your body responds by producing protective mucus to shield itself from the damage. That mucus, it becomes the phlegm you can't shake. The crazy part, most people with LPR have no heartburn. They have no idea anything is happening with reflux. That earned it the name silent reflux. Studies show that up to 30% of unexplained chronic throat symptoms are caused by this one issue. Here's your 30-second home test for LPR. First thing tomorrow morning, before eating or drinking anything else, take a small sip of room temperature water. If you feel any burning, sour taste, or immediate throat clearing response, your body may be reacting to overnight acid exposure. LPR could be your hidden cause. All right, let's talk about food. I know what you're thinking. I already gave up dairy, but dairy is just the tip of the iceberg. There are 3 major dietary culprits multiplying mucus production that most people completely overlook. Culprit number 1, ultra-processed foods. Those packaged snacks, frozen meals, and fast food items are loaded with preservatives and additives that promote systemic inflammation, including in your mucous membranes. Culprit number 2, refined sugars. When you consume excess sugar, your body ramps up inflammatory responses throughout the respiratory tract. Multiple studies show high sugar diets correlate with thicker, more persistent phlegm. Culprit number 3, and here's where it gets interesting. Despite what you may have heard, dairy isn't actually the mucus monster everyone claims. For most people, but for the 15 to 20% of adults with a specific milk protein sensitivity, dairy does trigger dramatically increased mucus production. It's not universal, but it's absolutely real for many. The 14-day test: eliminate all dairy, ultra-processed foods, and added sugars for 2 full weeks. Track your phlegm daily on a scale of 1 to 10. If you see a meaningful drop, your diet is contributing significantly. And here's the cool part: you don't need to quit these foods forever. You just need to identify which ones are your specific triggers. I need to share something with you that might be uncomfortable. The air inside your home could be making you sicker than the air outside. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, indoor air is typically 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air. And that polluted air constantly irritates your respiratory tract, triggering chronic mucus production. The biggest offenders hiding in most homes right now: synthetic air fresheners and plug-ins, which release VOCs continuously. Harsh cleaning products with ammonia or bleach. New furniture, carpets, and fresh paint, which off-gas formaldehyde for years. Dust mite colonies living in your pillow and mattress, and mold hidden behind walls, under sinks, or in bathrooms. Here's a simple experiment. Notice how your phlegm changes on weekends versus weekdays. Many people feel worse at work or in specific rooms of their home. That's a major environmental clue. Alternatively, walk outside for 30 minutes. If your throat feels noticeably clearer outdoors, your indoor environment is contributing significantly. This is the most overlooked cause of chronic phlegm, and often the easiest to fix once identified. Finally, cause number 5, the simplest but most overlooked. You're probably not drinking enough water, and you're trapped in a vicious throat clearing cycle. Here's the trap: when you feel phlegm, you clear your throat. But every time you clear, you create vibration and friction that further irritates the tissues. Your body responds by producing more protective mucus. The more you clear, the more you produce. It's a self-reinforcing loop that's difficult to break. Combined with chronic mild dehydration, and the data shows most adults are mildly dehydrated, the mucus that does get produced becomes thicker, stickier, and harder to clear, which makes you want to clear it even more. A 2019 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that even mild dehydration, just 1 to 2% body water loss, increased respiratory tract mucus concentration by 25%. 25%. From just being slightly dehydrated. The fix: aim for half your body weight in ounces of water daily. So if you weigh 160 pounds, that's 80 ounces. Sip throughout the day, and replace every throat-clearing urge with a gentle sip of water or a deliberate swallow. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll likely notice a significant reduction in phlegm. Let me back everything up with research, because I don't want you to just take my word for it. A 2019 meta-analysis in the International Forum of Allergy and Rhinology reviewed 47 separate studies on chronic phlegm. Researchers identified 5 main contributing factors that align remarkably well with what I just shared: sinus inflammation, LPR, dietary triggers, environmental exposures, and hydration habits. Dr. David Johnson, professor of medicine and one of the leading laryngology researchers in the country, has publicly stated LPR is the most underdiagnosed cause of chronic throat symptoms in adult patients. And in 2021, the American Academy of Otolaryngology published clinical guidelines highlighting that environmental triggers and silent reflux together account for the majority of chronic throat complaints that fail to respond to traditional allergy treatment. What about risks of ignoring chronic phlegm, chronic airway inflammation, recurrent respiratory infections, sleep disruption, reduced quality of life, and in more severe cases, increased risk of developing bronchial conditions over time? The good news, the solutions are non-invasive, low-cost, and effective for nearly everyone. You just have to identify which cause applies to you and address it specifically. Let's bring it all together. The 5 hidden causes of chronic phlegm. Number 1, silent sinus inflammation producing excess mucus that drips down your throat without obvious congestion. Number 2, laryngopharyngeal reflux, silent acid reflux directly irritating your throat tissues and triggering protective mucus. Number 3, dietary triggers, ultra-processed foods, refined sugars, and dairy sensitivities for those with specific protein reactions. Number 4, environmental toxins inside your home, air fresheners, cleaning products, off-gassing furniture, dust mites, and hidden mold. Number 5, dehydration combined with the self-reinforcing throat clearing habit. Here's the truth. If you ignore this problem, it almost never resolves on its own. The underlying cause keeps doing its damage. But here's the good news. Once you identify and address the root cause, whatever it is for you, the relief can be remarkable. Many people eliminate chronic phlegm entirely within just a few weeks of targeted changes. You don't need expensive medications, you don't need complicated procedures, you need information, and you now have it. If this video helped you understand what's really going on with your throat, I have a small favor to ask. Subscribe right now and hit the notification bell so you never miss my next video. I'm going to be diving deeper into silent reflux next week, including a step-by-step 7-day protocol you can follow at home to test if LPR is your specific cause. Watch next, the 3 morning habits that trigger silent acid reflux and exactly how to fix them. Download our free guide, the 30-second home test for hidden reflux. Link in the description below. It's a printable checklist you can do right at home. Finally, drop a comment below. Which of these 5 hidden causes do you think is your underlying issue? I read every comment and respond to as many as I can. Your answers might help others identify their causes too. Your throat deserves better. Your sleep deserves better. Your health deserves better. Take what you learned today and apply it. You'll be glad you did. I'll see you in the next one.